Really, Bug Films? That's where we're leaving it off at. That is your season finale. What is this? This is epic levels of source material bait that we have not seen for like 15 years at this point. For those that have not been around anime for a while, like 15 years or so, like early 2000s, like every single show that would air would have like the worst cliffhanger at the end of the season. And in a lot of cases back then, you never got season twos. So it was literally them saying, have fun with the source material. We'll see you in chapter 23 or whatever. For this one, it's going to be, I think, 23. 23 ends this particular storyline right here. So if you want to read on for Witch Hat Atelier, chapter 24 onward, is that where you're at? But yeah, they would always leave off on some massive cliffhanger. It wasn't like a chapter in even. This isn't like a chapter in. It is technically a chapter in, but this is like, we'll see you next week. It just feels bad. It's epic. I'm extremely thrilled by what's going on. Like, it is super, like, this is easily one of the best episodes, but the problem is that it just leaves a nasty taste in my mouth because, well, I do know they're going to have a season 2. No announcement yet, but I'm like 99.99% sure it's going to have a season 2. It's just not now. And it is not going to be for a long time because you see the quality here. They can use their eyeballs. They know the visual quality that we have here. This isn't Tencent with with Lord of Mysteries where they can pump a ton of money into it and get it out quicker. This is Bug Films, which thank goodness they actually got this all out in one go, but man, what a nasty stop point. This doesn't feel good. This honestly, unfortunately, does not feel good as much as this is easily one of the best episodes. But let me stop ranting about that. Let's get into what happened in this episode because it kind of played out how I expected. Although the stuff around Coco, Kifri, and Tetsuya I was not expecting. I kind of assumed that they were going to somehow try to rope Coco into the situation. Just not down there. Just not down there, and to find out that all the people in that town are alive. I knew they got turned into, gold, but I assumed that, they would die. They just become like the structure. Not that they're living, moving things still that are still alive at this point, but damn. But before we talk about them, I want to talk about, yes, Eduardo. Eduardo. We got ourselves a Fullmetal Alchemist moment with poor Eweeni. I kind of thought that this was going to be the thing that would end up going the direction of is forcing this to happen, but yeah, that was sad for Eweeni turning into a chimera thingy-majiggy, and I immediately thought of Fullmetal Alchemist. Now, it's so funny because we had 2 shows this season that have a Eduardo chimera moment from Fullmetal Alchemist. Of course, the other one being from the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist, Demons of the Shadow Realm. But they had like a moment in that one with one of the creatures. One of the demons looked just like, the whole chimera thing. But yeah, I wasn't really expecting it to kind of get this dark with, especially some sort of alteration here. Yeah, as we open up the whole moment around Agate and Riche and Eweeni and this brim cap, it goes in this whole moment where they're trying to get away. I like to see that Eweeni right here is trying to push himself to not say things are impossible. We can't get away, it's impossible. And having Riche kind of give him that glance of, dude, really again? We're doing this again? Riche in this moment of panic is still like looking at him and going, giving the death glare like, you stop that. We already went through this whole thing. But yeah, him kind of doing the whole covering thing. Unfortunately, not having the disguise anymore because of the change in the cloak. So the things are getting a little bit scared. Having this moment where he's nearly getting sucked in by the brim cat. Riche takes action before they run away. But yeah, they flee for a little bit. They use the ice in order to get around. And then eventually the brim cat gets them cornered. Well, Agate stops them. She's assuming that the brim cap's after them right now because they want Coco. Just like back there, Tete was saying the same thing as I'm saying right now. Why is this always happening to us? This doesn't normally happen to apprentices. They're not being chased around by brim cats all the time. No, something different has to be about their group. It's Coco. There's something special about that Coco girl and they're after her. So I'll just tell him she's not with us. I like the thing, like literally just tackles her down and says, you guys are so good at that. Sure enough, you're being taught by one of those pointed caps. The pointed hats, they always are good at lying. They've always been good at lying. Back in the day, they were sinners. They did horrible things. And nowadays, they're weak. And they're afraid of accepting the power that they have. It's kind of an interesting little thing here. And again, it does sort of allude to sort of the overall discussion, or at least, speculation that I've had around specifically like Kifri. and the idea that there could be an element here where Kiefer knows a bit more than most people know, or at least the witches know. But more just the fact that the witches themselves, they have a potential there. They have something that they could go towards, but for some reason, they lie to themselves. They keep away from that power. They fear their own power. And that's sort of what Kiefer said at the beginning of the last episode when he was talking about the forbidden magic and the destruction it causes. Is there's a fear of what it did, but there's also a fear of the potential that they have, and more so what some don't know they can do. I guess is the best way to put it. I think he said something to that effect of like, there's more of a fear of them not knowing just how dangerous they are. That could be alluding to the brim caps, but that's probably more so to the pointed hats, if anything. But anyways, yeah. This individual now starting to entice them, bringing up the thing that I was kind of assuming would happen last episode, that he's going to go through each one of them and entice them in some way. For now, it doesn't seem like any of them want to accept it, but he does go into details with every single one of them. It does sort of allude to the fact that this brim cap does know what they desire. Like, he has been watching them for a while and knows at least what each one of them desires. So he can go to each one of them. Agate, you want to grow up right now, right? Yeah, Agate wants to grow up. She wants to mature. She wants to prove herself. She hates being treated like a kid. Oh, look into Riche. You want to stay like a child forever. Yes, Riche doesn't want to change. She wants to stay as she is. Then he looks over to Eweeni. Oh, you want to be able to hide your spells. Yeah, each one of them has something that they want to do. Oh yeah, you're a little flying here. You want to be able to fly without having to use those shoes? You can go wherever you want. I can liberate you from those shackles. Me personally, I've liberated myself from the shackles of the flesh. All these things that you can have, miracles of magic, it's all available to you. Again, kind of trying to entice each one of them. But here's the odd thing, because I assumed his original intent here were to, lure them. But in the end, he doesn't. He actually wants to use them as bait for Coco specifically. And it seems like he wants to, and he's willing to, kill all the rest of them. Right here, he's going to mark something into Agate, change Agate in some way, which we find out seems to be what he ends up doing with Eweeni. He wants to etch something into Agate to change her visual appearance, turn her into something else, and then Coco's going to see that, be just distraught, and seek out to do some sort of forbidden magic in order to change her back. Now, specifically what he says is that soon enough the world will remember which kind of hat witches are meant to wear. We simply seek to hasten the moment it arrives. For that, sacrifices must be made. That's the oddity there. That he seems to be implying that, yeah, while he wants to lure Coco into producing some sort of forbidden magic, doing this process is going to hasten the witch's acceptance of the brim caps? Question mark? Like, yeah, it's almost like they want to return to a state where magic is liberated and everybody can use whatever they want to use. But why does that specifically need Coco as a question mark? Why do they need Coco to accept this magic? What is special about Coco that if she accepts forbidden magic, that suddenly the world's going to accept it? That's the question mark there. All I can think about is that Coco's going to have some sort of like endless amount of mana, some sort of source of mana within herself. Is she going to have a bloodline that is able to produce mana from her actual blood? Something like that. But yeah, he goes to tattoo on Agate. She freaks out, remembering the fact that, she'll be basically seen as Brimcap at that point. Doesn't want that. She's still got to show somebody her magic. And then, yes, they free her. And then, yes, he ends up taking poor Eweeni. Had a brief moment with Eweeni sort of realizing that in his own restrictions, in the fact that he has this problem with being seen while he's doing his magic, he's able to find something through it. It's sort of the idea that restrictions sort of creates ingenuity. You're able to create ingenuity because you're so restricted by the things around you or your circumstances. Sort of what I'm kind of getting into there. But yeah, he... Again, sort of, I think, does to him what he was planning on doing to Agate, turns him into a weird creature. He said that during the process, it integrated the scale wolf fur used to make the cloak. So I'm guessing he altered his form, and because he had the cloak on at the time, it just sort of adapted that to his body and turned him into a scale wolf. Kind of interesting. But yeah, that was a really cool introduction of him in that form. The visual representation of it with this, like, the eyes and then, like, the glowing effect of it all swirling around his form before it kind of shows his actual form. It kind of made me believe that there is still the effect of the cloak sort of creating an illusion right there, but then he comes out of it. I thought for a minute that he was going to be an invisible wolf, basically. I think that might end up being the thing, that there's going to be sort of a combination of the two of them, that even if they don't learn how to change him back, he might have some sort of capability of hiding himself all the time and thus be able to still live on. Because that's sort of what he's running into right now, is that he wants to be a witch, but he can't let people see him cast spells. And so he's just going to be a witch that is never seen. And it might end up being the case. If there's a chance here, and I can see there's a possibility here that they don't know how to immediately change him back, so he will have to live on as a hidden wolf and potentially just have to live in the shadows. Might end up, living with Kiefer. Kiefer already opened the door to, Eweeni to live with him at the Atelier. It could be a case where he does live there, but just as a hidden wolf. But yeah, that was that was a little bit heartbreaking. It sucks though, because Riche up to this moment was kind of really growing a bond with him. Like, even she says that in there, I hate doing things that I don't want to do, but I hate more leaving a friend like that. I have to go save him, even though she doesn't have the capability. But yeah, like the lead up to here where, she's trying to struggle to help out. And definitely this episode, Riche is learning sort of the limitations that she has and how it's affecting her through this whole thing. It is, again, pretty much what they were talking about. This is a test to, for you to find yourself. Right here, she's finding that she doesn't have a self. She's lacking in so many ways, and it is causing problems for others. Because I haven't learned all these spells, because I don't want to learn them, because I want to stick to what I'm comfortable with, I don't have what I need to get through the situation. Yeah, and that moment when they were on the slide, and he's like, here, if this will help you out, take mine. It's embarrassing that I pre-wrote these, but now they'll be able to help you, so please take them. Use them however you want to use them. And right here, with him running off, and Agate basically telling her, hey, I'm going to have to go. You don't have enough to be adaptable to the situation. You don't know enough spells. Take the creatures to the exit, find help. I'll handle the situation. I don't mean to be rude, but you ain't got the skills. You ain't got enough spells to do this. It's a big eye-opening experience for Riche. That's for dang sure. I do appreciate that, honestly, in wake of, like, my criticism around Riche's character development, or at least most of their character developments being very shallow. At least the here and now storytelling for some of these characters, like Riche, is enough to be, like, satisfying. Like, you do see, like, in the moment, their development happening, and it's very satisfying. But yeah, after Eweeni is transformed and they call out for him to change him back, he pretty much just says, yeah, you can change him back if you want to. Magic can do anything. Good luck to you. Very interesting, very interesting. Again, that does sort of prove that his whole purpose here was just to change one of them into something. It is odd that in the end he chooses Eweeni. You would think that he would know that Eweeni is not very important and wouldn't really matter. So he might still want to go after one of the other two before this is all over, but we'll see. But yeah, with that all said, with them out of the way, let's get to the other side of this whole thing, which is Coco, Kiefer, and Tetia. We open up the episode with them, messing around with the shoes. Kiefer pointing out the fact that, oh yeah, Agate was able to move really fast with the ones that you gave her. She's like, wait, what happened to her? Like, no, it was good. The straight lines really helped it. Again, kind of showing that element of how well you draw can sort of enhance the ability of these spells themselves. So pretty cool there. But yeah, eventually Alara's hat shows up, kind of giving that signal that something happened. He points out to Tetia and Coco to pretty much get the hell out of here while he goes and gets help. But yeah, before a golem attacks them, which this point he points out that the golems are, or at least the spells to create golems is some sort of forbidden spell. So there's a kind of a note there. But yeah, he gets hit in the back of the head. They fall down to the bottom of the depths, and Coco, when she goes to touch Kiefer's head, freaks out again. Again, kind of a little bit of his other side, subconsciously coming out, like him waking up and him just immediately going into defensive mode. Again, one of those signs that Kiefer's seen some stuff, man. Kiefer, that's a look from somebody that has seen some stuff. That is like a war veteran having a moment of PTSD stare. Like, what do you want? Who are you? Oh, it's you, Coco. But yeah, very quickly he stresses them up and realizes that they're not alone down there. That the old people of Ramanon is there. The gold decorations, the living gold decorations are all there. They're not going to take too kindly to witches. Yeah, that's understandable. I honestly was not expecting that. It's kind of one of those another horrors of the forbidden magic, is to see that these individuals, not only were they turned to gold and used as decorations, that's my assumption, is that they were like killed when they were turned to gold. No, these people are living. They're not turned to gold and die. They're living beings. and they've been down there this entire time. So yeah, I agree with Kefri. They're not going to like witches that much. They said that the vile witches who turned us into these, they're going to immediately see any witch as being sort of this something that they want to kill. And so yeah, this is not good. Not good at all. But yeah, he tells Coco and Tetia to stay behind him as well as they can. It's like an indication there that I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff. Make sure to try to stay close to me if you can. But and that's where it leaves it. I hate this so much. I'm gonna rant about this again. I hate this so much. This is our stopping point. It kind of reminds me of here recently with Dandadan. But again, Dandadan, they very quickly announced the season 2. But yeah, like the way that Dandadan season 1 ended is like, you didn't have to end here. You could have ended back there. But this is getting into a rant of something else. This has nothing to do with Witch Hat Atelier specifically, but this is one of those things that remind me of how much I hate that, especially in Japan, they're still stuck to TV broadcast. This mindset of TV broadcast time slots that are just stuck to, that you have to have it be, 11 to 13 episodes. It has to be this long because you have to fill in this time slot in TV broadcast. I wish they would get away from this. Get away from it. Just make 20 episodes if you need to make 20 episodes. Make 15 episodes if you need to make... Do something outside of those norms. That's why it's one of those things that it sucks, and it obviously makes sense why it is the way it is. Something like, Lord of Mysteries, where they just make however many episodes they need to make. Like, they're clocking in season 2 as being 40 episodes or around 40 episodes, and it's like, whatever it needs. Just whatever it needs to make those episodes. ONAs are kind of opening the door to that, and hopefully as Japan gets more accepting of, releasing things as, online streaming, they can hopefully get away from those restrictions. Just do how many episodes you need to make. It's just, yeah. Anyways. Rant over. Rant over. Overall, though, really incredible season of Witch Hat Atelier. Just a little bit of a stain there on where it decides that it wants to stop. But it doesn't take away from the fact that I really enjoyed it. And this last episode kind of opened the door to the potential of it actually having, weight to the situation. Because we really haven't seen weight given the situation. All the weight to everything has been around Kefri trying to keep a secret of him looking into the brim caps. And his willingness to wipe the memory of Nonoa about what happened. And that's about it. We haven't really seen, really dangerous stuff happen so far. And this is our first moment of seeing that. Seeing Eweeni being completely transformed into something else. Losing his form and potentially, like the brim cap was saying, him never being able to show himself in front of other people ever again. And sure enough, it happens. He shows himself in front of Riche and Agate, and what's the reaction? It's fear. And he runs away. I'll never be able to show myself in front of them. Riche's going to come find me later on, and I can't show myself in front of her because she will be fearful of me. That's that weight that kind of is going to make things a little more interesting. Now, if they'll hold to it, that's the question mark. Is he going to be permanently like this? Is it going to be something he's going to be stuck with for a long time until somebody finds some way of curing him? Is it going to be literally the next episode of this, season 1 coming out, and suddenly they just, Kefri comes over there and goes, oh, just do this, just erase this off his arm, and boop, he's back to normal. That's the question mark. How permanent will this end up being, and will there be repercussions for this? To Kefri and his, fight to protect his students, how dangerous will this end up getting? It's a lot of dudes down there. And again, they're not supposed to use forbidden magic. These are technically people. Would he have the ability to even fight these individuals? Is he going to have attacking spells that will be able to help them at all? Forbidden magics are often things that harm other people, so what would he have to protect them with? That's a question mark. We'll see, though. Anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 13, the finale of Witch Hat Atelier. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. Thank you guys for dropping by on a weekly basis as I did my coverage of the series. But until the return of Witch Hat Atelier, until next time, take care.